Hi, Scrolling Along with Susan. Hey, I am back with another scroll saw piece, and this is going to be a segmentation, a very advanced segmentation project that I'll be doing. If you want a simpler segmentation project, you might look at the hummingbirds that I have done in a previous video. This one is going to be Highland Cows, mother and calf. Very involved, but it's just a video to show you what is possible and what you can use for your combinations. Now, I am going to be using 3 different types of wood. I've got walnut at 1/4 of an inch, cherry at 1/4 of an inch, and then I have maple at 1/3 of an inch. So the maple part is going to be raised somewhat on some of the pieces. And I'm stack cutting them all together. So by the time I'm done, I'll have 3 projects. Highland Cows are all the rage these days. And if you are looking for a pattern, and a free pattern at that, there are many resources that you can go to. One of the ones I like is a Facebook Scroll Saw Association of the World that you can join, and sometimes they drop free patterns on that, or you can get inspired by a lot of the patterns that people show you. You can also go to a Scroll Saw workshop, and that's Steve Goods, and he has a lot of free patterns there. Pinterest ideas, or you can design your own like I have done many times. But this is not going to be about the pattern, it's going to be about how to do segmentation. So I hope that explains a little bit. Oh, and another place that you can get online is the public domain. I think it's a wiki that have many pictures that you can copy and print out at no charge. I have all 3 layers of hardwood secured with double-sided tape and regular tape, and I am spraying the back of the patterns and placing them right on top so that I can cut all 3 out at the same time. On my original pattern, I am giving every single piece a number, so when I can mix and match them later, I can write the number on the back of each piece so I do not confuse them. I have chosen a Pegasus 5R blade. Now it's important that you make sure that the blade is at a 90-degree angle with the table. So when you're cutting all 3 pieces, there is no slant or curve, and they fit properly when you're mixing and matching. Now comes the strategy. You need to make sure that you are not dealing with 2 small little pieces and trying to handle them and cut them. You need to make sure you have a lot of the body of the wood to hold on to. It makes it much easier to cut out these small little pieces. You can mark the back of the pieces right away, or you can cut 4 or 5 different pieces and then mark them, whatever you need to do when you're removing the tape, and mark them up and place them on your copies. I have actually made 4 copies of this pattern, and one I have laminated because I'm going to use the laminated one when I do the glue up so it does not stick to the paper. There are so many little pieces here. It is very important to make sure that all the backs are marked with the same number as your original piece, and mix and match. I'm not too sure about having the maple part 1/3 of an inch and the other 2 1/4 of an inch because it looks a little funny, but the more I look at it, I think it'll be fine. I do need to put some shims under some of the other parts to raise them up a little bit, and I just cut that out with 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood to raise some of the pieces up. All of my pieces have been cut out. I have used paint only on the eyes, the nose, and a little bit of the tongue. Now I have to figure out, am I happy with how I have the pieces set up, or do I need to do some adjusting? I also have to clean every piece on the top before gluing it up. I'm going to be making some shims, so I take my piece that I want to raise. I can either draw around it and cut on the inside. You want it slightly smaller than your actual piece, or you can take the pattern and just cut slightly on the inside of the pattern, and this will raise up this piece and make it look a little bit more interesting. I chose Tight Bond Quick and Thick as my glue, and using small toothpicks to put the glue on each piece to glue it together. I didn't want to use super glue because I wanted an opportunity to adjust the pieces a little bit. And after the cows are glued up, I trace it on 1/8 inch backer board all the way around it, and then I cut it about 1/8 of an inch less than the front piece. Here I am just gluing the backer board to my main piece. Now, if you have a nice flat surface that's going to be your background, you really don't need to use a backer board. You could actually glue your piece directly to that board. I am just doing a last minute inspection for any glue squeeze out. And I'm sanding it out so that when I seal it, it'll look real nice. For sealing my pieces, I am using a mixture of tung oil and mineral spirits or paint thinner, whatever you want to call it. And I will probably put 2 or 3 coats on. Time to let them dry. Here's one of my pieces all glued up. Now, I decided not to round over the edges of the raised pieces. I think raised just a little bit adds enough interest to it that I shouldn't need to round over the edges. The only thing I rounded were a little bit of the horns. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.